Several years ago, a friend of mine and a really good friend of my dad's passed away unexpectedly. So, not long after that, his wife had a farm sale to get rid of some of their equipment and different things like that. And one of the items that was up for sale was his hunting rifle. My dad was determined to buy his rifle as a way to say when he could take it hunting, it was like hunting with Phil. And so he was able to purchase it. And then I think the following deer season, he was actually able to kill a buck and a doe with that rifle. And just, not being the biggest buck in the world or the prettiest buck in the world, but hunting is so much more than that. I think that there's nothing wrong with being a trophy hunter. There's nothing wrong with hunting the same deer for years and having history and, obsessing over it and things like that. But I think the longer that you hunt, the more it becomes that philosophical journey, or you hit that philosophical stage where it's just about more than killing something. Before the days of trail cameras, if I went hunting and didn't see any deer or didn't see any bucks or anything, I would think there were no deer around. I would think there were no bucks around, no nice bucks, no mature bucks, nothing like that. And my mood was completely driven off of whether I saw a deer, whether I killed a deer. If I didn't kill one, I'd be so mad thinking what I was doing was pointless. However, then several years ago, what really changed my perspective on hunting was including God in every one of my hunts. So when I walk in, I say a prayer, and all I'm doing is thanking Him for the opportunity to go, the opportunity to do something that I love, the opportunity to have a place to do it, and praying for a good experience. But also understanding it's already been a good experience simply because I get to go, and just finding joy in that as opposed to whatever the end result ends up being. Then when I get done to leave and I walk out, I pray and thank God for a great experience, for the opportunity to be there. The same sort of thing I pray for walking in. And it completely changed my outlook, completely changed my perspective on hunting. It wasn't so much results driven as much as just being grateful for the experience and having a place to go and do something I love. So with that outlook of it already being a success just by being there, killing something was just a huge bonus. And if I didn't kill something, well, then I get to go home and see my kids. I don't have to drag a deer out of the woods. I don't have to track a deer that maybe is hard to track. I don't have to butcher one up, anything like that. But I can also still have joy in just getting to have the experience. So it basically became a win-win all around. Now, I've listened to some podcasts lately, different hunting shows and things like that on YouTube and so on, and I feel like I'm hearing and seeing a trend lately of hunters really starting to talk about how they enjoy hunting more when it's not looked at with so much pressure of, I've got to kill a big deer, I'm obsessing over this deer that I'm hunting. They end up enjoying it more when they're just there for the experience, or I heard someone say just there to watch the show. And it's such a blessing every single time we get to go out into the woods, every time we get to go hunting, just to be there and watch the show. And sometimes that's watching a coon wander through the leaves beneath you. That's watching a squirrel play, watching a group of turkeys, watching some deer. There's so many different things to be thankful for. Sometimes just looking up at a beautiful blue sky with some clouds and just thanking God for His creation, thanking God for the opportunity to do something we love. And I think we all have realized and noticed by now that there's a lot of concern with many hunters now of, I've got to write a disclaimer if I shoot a buck that's not the biggest buck ever, or, well, he wasn't the one I was looking for, or I know there's bigger bucks out there, but we shouldn't have to apologize for the buck that you shoot. You shouldn't have to apologize for shooting a doe or a button buck or anything like that. Everyone has their own circumstances and the reasons for why they hunt. Some people hunt just to fill the freezer. Some people hunt because they want to shoot the biggest buck there is. For me, a lot of the times, I have switched archery equipment. Maybe I'm using different broadheads, or I've switched up arrow setup or something like that. And I want to see how well it performs because I'm just looking for a test subject. It might be a doe, it might be a buck, who knows? But I want to be able to see how my equipment performs. I know in the past several years, I've got small children, and I'm just thankful sometimes to have an opportunity to go hunting because of family commitments, because of limited time or opportunities. I know some people have limited access to private land, if They have no access to private land. You're hunting public land, and there's competition there between, other hunters and you. So everyone has their own situation. I think we've been duped some and fooled by the celebrity hunters who kill a big buck every single year, and we maybe aren't privy to the fact that they're hunting on 500 acres or 1,000 acres, or they're able to really easily manage their herd to where they can shoot a big buck every year. Pattern one, and there's no hunting pressure and all these different factors that come into it. And I think a lot of people have fallen into the trap of thinking you can do that anywhere with the same amount of ease. It is possible to do it on a small acreage and a small piece of land, but depending on the situation that you have, it may not be so easy. It's not as turnkey as, oh, I put a food plot in and I'm on 10 acres or 20 acres or 40 acres. I put a food plot in, it's a guarantee I'm going to kill a booner. It's just not the same for everybody. And I think we've been tricked a little bit by the industry into thinking that it is easy. And so my point being, we don't know when our last hunt is going to be. It may not be a situation like with my dad's friend Phil, where you unexpectedly pass away or tragically. It may not be that as much as you just lose access to hunting, or life gets too busy, or you aren't able to go for some reason or another. It could be due to a variety of different circumstances. But how big of a shame would it be to pass every single buck that you saw because you're waiting to kill one that someone on social media or a friend or someone else is going to be impressed with, and you could have shot one that you would have been happy with in the first place? Now, I'm not knocking on quality deer management. I'm not knocking on, letting a deer grow and mature and things like that. But if you have one you're happy with, if you have one that's going to get your heart racing and you're going to be proud to put it on the wall or in the back of your pickup, just shoot the deer. The reality is that most of us are going to kill one buck a year if we're fortunate. If you've got a really good opportunity, maybe you kill multiple ones. But you're not shooting every single 1.5, 2.5, 3.5-year-old deer on your property. The other ones are going to get to grow another year or two, and there will be big bucks. There will be big bucks to chase. But we never know how much time we have. In the Bible, in the book of James, it says, what is your life? You're a mist one day, you're here today and gone tomorrow. We're just a vapor floating in the wind. Our life goes just like that. And we just never know when our last hunt's going to be. So I would encourage you guys, shoot the deer that makes you happy. Don't worry about other people are going to think about your deer. Enjoy your hunt. Take advantage of the time that you have, because tomorrow's not promised. And be grateful. Thank you for watching Farming for Whitetails. We'll see you next time. Maybe if you're fortunate, you can kill multiple bucks that got hit with an acorn.